Good morning. Well, everyone, thank you. Thank you for coming to our People's Palace, and especially those who are volunteering to become commissioners on our city bodies. I want to say a special thank you to each and every one of you. A number of you are new. Some of them are returning for the battle, and others are simply wondering what it is that they're being asked to do. I had the pleasure this morning of joining a number of kids at Spring Valley Elementary School on Walk to School Day. And in the beginning, we played this game called Mayor Says. No, I'm not going to introduce that game to you. But I wanted to have a moment and say that how proud I am to see all of you here today, supporting those who are stepping up to help me manage and make decisions in this city. And it is a very diverse, talented group of people. And you are being asked by me and my administration to put forth some valuable personal time to help us open up government, to receive opinions from all over our great city, and to forge those opinions into the best decisions that you can guide our departments in making. I am flanked by Supervisor Julie Christensen. Thank you for being here. Harlan Kelly, our PUC Director. Carmen Chu, our Assessor Recorder. Tom Huey, our Building Inspection. Ed Riskin, the other Ed, at our MTA, with Tom Nolan as the president of that body. And of course, Naomi Kelly, our city administrator. Thank you all for being here. Okay. And of course, our director of our Department of Environment, Deborah Alfred. Look, I know I have a stump speech for our commission appointees, but I'm going to depart that a little bit because I reviewed this morning and last night the departments to which I've asked all of you to be commissioners on. And as I reviewed those departments, I realized how valuable they are to the functioning of our city. We have an appointment to our building inspection. That was the agency, Tom, that I focused on that I really hated when I was a young attorney. Because in the aura of preserving affordable housing, I wanted inspectors to be out there helping our low-income residents do the best they can. Well, Tom, you've done a terrific job. And I want to make sure that our new commission adds value to their function, that I want to preserve housing. And the only way we can do that is to have inspections done in all of the different parts of our city done well and done quickly. I have a citizens committee on community development. I look forward to stabilizing more neighborhoods in the city as there is tremendous change that is going on, and to marshal the strength and the economics of the city to make sure that our neighborhoods are stabilized and not going through abrupt changes. I have an appointment in the Commission on Community Investment and Infrastructure. That's our agency that has replaced our redevelopment agency. And we hope to provide you, Commissioner, with new powers to help us build strong neighborhoods in the city, accelerate the challenge of affordable housing in the city. We're making an appointment to the Commission on the Status of Women. We have to end domestic violence, and this is the month that we celebrate our efforts even more to end domestic violence. And of course, with the historic signing that Governor Brown did yesterday on equal pay, you've got an exciting agenda to help our governor do. I've got some brand new bodies like the Department of Children, Youth, and Families Oversight and Advisory Committee, a number of appointments made to that body. And there's more and more an increased oversight that we have to do with all of the departments that have on their agenda help to our families and to our youth and to young people in the city. We need to do better to coordinate these services so that parents can be navigating through all of these wonderful things that we have, because we made a commitment to increase our services to all of our families and youth. To that exciting Entertainment Commission, we're making and bringing back more nightlife entertainment. We've got a huge collaboration with our celebration of Super Bowl 50, but we also want to make sure that the appropriate corridors experience the right amount of entertainment that combines and blends in with our corridors, and make sure that the enrichment of our cultural diversity is reflected in the same way. We have a repeat on our Commission of the Environment, and we know that not only is solar and the issues of our climate change are in the forefront with the Pope's recent visit and with my collaboration with the governor on climate change, but also with the leadership at the Department of Environment, we're making the use of diesel and going to renewable diesel as an indication to all the cities that we can do even more in our climate without having to change so much the infrastructure. We can have better practices. And by the way, we will get to zero on our waste in our lifetimes. I had a chance with my wife recently to see the movie San Andreas. And while that was pretty devastating, it was filmed in San Francisco, not in some fake place that they could call San Francisco. And I had the opportunity to meet the film crews that were part of Mr. Johnson's entourage as they parachuted into the middle of AT&T Park. Well, that's exciting, and our film commission is on its way to really helping to rebuild the filming industry in our city. I have a health services board. We need to be a more healthy city engagement of employees. And that's what I did this morning with our United States Surgeon General. We walked from a park to the school to demonstrate with our kids that we can be healthier. We got to do a lot more walking, and we got to build the infrastructure to make sure that our workforce is healthier. And I want to thank the leadership at the Health Services Board for that effort. You know, our housing authority was also a place that I began my legal career. I want to make sure that the residents and all of the city know it is my intention to never have poverty housing, isolated poverty housing again in this city. We have a renewed housing authority working with the city, and we are going to make sure that our rental assistance demonstration program is the most successful in the entire country. Our low-income residents deserve the best housing we can provide. Public-private partnerships, strong neighborhoods, never isolated poverty housing again. I will make an appointment this afternoon to the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission's role has been evolving ever since I became its director back in the 90s, and I still value that organization because today, know what they are doing. They are working on unconscious bias in our workforce and in our neighborhoods and in all the agencies. They are working with our public safety officers to make sure that on a day-to-day basis, the people that we hire, the people who may have been in the department for 25 to 30 years, do not exhibit unconscious bias. We have to get to better practices, and we have to win the trust of everybody that we want in a safer community. Thank you to the Human Rights Commission for doing more work to make sure we get rid of discrimination and bias in the way we provide services. Muni is getting closer to being on time, Ed. Closer and closer. And I'm glad that I make another reappointment to somebody who has been wonderfully a part of that agency and guiding us and making sure all voices are heard. Well, more than just Muni buses. As you know, every part of our corridor, we can't build housing unless we have good transportation infrastructure. We can't be a regional success unless we're paying attention to the challenges of transportation. And more, the invited workforce that we have want to be part of Muni and part of the multi-modes of transportation. That is the challenge of our MTA, and I know they're up for that challenge. I know they're called upon in so many circles now, and I want to just say I'm deeply appreciated to the leadership of MTA because they're engaged in literally every part of our discussions about both economic success and the challenges of our neighborhoods. I have a new Office of Early Care and Education Citizens Advisory Commission, and I'm making a number of very qualified appointments to that body because the voters have asked to be having a better navigation of all of our services. And the commitment that we've made with the passage of Prop C, our commitment to produce more and clear support for our children and for our youth, means that we have to engage in early childhood experiences that are much more linked to all the things that we are doing to help our children grow healthy and smart and have the engagement of the best support that we can offer. Because that is one of the ways, not the only way, but one of the ways we end intergenerational poverty in San Francisco. We've got to make a better commitment to doing that. Wow, our sewers and our water systems, Harlan. And they're going to be challenged with the threat of El Nino. They have certainly been challenged with our drought. The PUC Commission and its department has done really well in educating all of us. And you can look at my bill because I've got a water bill that I'm proud of. We don't use a whole lot of water. But it's because we've been well educated about that challenge, and we need to do more. We need to make sure that infrastructure is there for generations to come. And that is why we're willing sometimes to pay a little bit more so that we can have a new earthquake-safe water delivery system that continues to be the best water in the world, as far as I'm concerned. But we also need to make sure that we're using recycled water in all the places that we cannot use potable water. That is a challenge of our PUC, along with our continuing effort to make sure that we are the greenest in our energy use and that our CCA gets off to a good, solid start. We're all depending upon our PUC to continue its excellent efforts and to make sure they do even more. Gosh, our rent board is challenged these days. And I know that from earlier years where I used to work a lot of cases at the rent board. And I know that this is an opportunity to thank Delene Wolf because she's about to retire. Why are you retiring? It's only been 40 years. But I say to our appointment there, who probably has been on the rent board for 40 years as well, Polly, I say this because there's a lot of tension these days in the rent situation. And of course, everybody is fearful. And we have to do more to stabilize our neighborhoods and prevent evictions and to make sure we are deliberate in building and preserving and stabilizing more affordable housing in the city. And while we do that, we've got to have good landlord-property relationships with our tenants. It cannot be on the extreme end. This is the function of the rent board. It's a fair body of people concerned about that relationship, and we need to make sure we support it, because if we don't, then extremities on all sides will break the city apart. I want to say thank you to the rent board, because you hear it every day, you hear it from both sides, and you need to make balanced judgments. Our Southeast Community Facilities Commission has been a historic commission that has worked with our PUC for many years, and I know that they are seeking efforts to have a new home, and I'm glad for us to support them. They are invaluable to the history of our city, and I want to make sure they're led very well. I am proud of our Asian Art Commission. They are so much a compliment to this wonderful city, its cultural diversity, and they're building upon their relationships to have historic exhibits all over the world come and excite us. When they can allow art pieces to have us understand what are the current artists in China thinking about? What are they thinking about in our attempts to have a relationship with them on an international scale? What are the artists saying from China? These are the kinds of things that art helps and allows us to pierce through. And that is excitingly a part of our great city. Well, that's just an example of the commissions to which the talented people in front of me are being appointed to. I begin by saying thank you on behalf of the city. I ask you to do your best to make sure the doors of opportunity, but also the doors of inclusion are always open. The strength of our city will continue to always be its diversity. And when we have commissions and bodies that invite and receive those diverse opinions, your decisions and your guidance and your policy is going to be 10 times better. With that, may I ask all of our appointees to please stand up. And as I ask you to raise your right hand, and when I say I would like each one of you individually to state your name and the body to which that you will be appointed to before we go on with the rest of the swearing in. Please, if you will, raise your right hand. I say your name.
Michael Wald.
Say it loudly and proudly.
I'm Michael Wald
Which commission?
of the DCYF Oversight Committee.
Thank you.
Joshua Arce, Commission on the Environment.
Carla Bryant, Office of Early Care and Education.
Kevin Clinch, Building Inspection Commission.
Stephen Follansbee, Health Services Board.
Steve Good, Southeast Commission.
September Jarrett, Citizens Advisory Office of Early Care and Education.
Audrey Joseph, Entertainment Commission.
Bill Kim for Asian Art Museum.
Ike Kwan, Public Utilities Commission.
Vida Bonilla, DCYF Oversight Committee.
Breanna Zwart, Commission on the Status of Women.
Marc Vogl, Citizens Committee on Community Development.
Lottie Titus, San Francisco Housing Authority Commission.
Bryant Tan, Entertainment Commission.
Legia Stebbing, Advisory Committee for the Office of Early Care and Education.
Gregg Sass, Health Services Board.
Joel Ramos, MTA Board of Directors.
Jon Moscone, Film Commission.
Joanna Quiroz, Office of Early Care and Education.
Leah Pimentel, Commission on Community Investment and Infrastructure.
Meredith Osborne, Office of Early Care and Education.
Mollie Matull, Children, Youth, and Families, Oversight.
Polly Marshall, Rent Stabilization and Arbitration Board.
Carmen Sosa, Board of Advising, Oversight Committee for DCYF. I was thinking about something else, sorry.
Do solemnly swear. Oh, one more. Over here.
Kathy Herrera Autumn, Office of Early Care and Education, Citizens Advisory Committee. Candace Wong, Office of Early Care and Education, Citizens Advisory Committee.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter during such time as I hold the office of
Board of Directors.
For the City and County of San Francisco.
City and County of San Francisco.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you very much. This concludes our swearing in, and again, I thank you very much for all the things you do and all the hours that you'll spend volunteering. Appreciate it.